Hello and welcome to News Central Television. I am Dakbo Adigboye. News Central now at this hour begins in South Africa, where opposition parties at the forefront of the Phala saga were disgruntled with the preliminary report's findings and disappointed that it was leaked. After months of delays and political tension, the office of the acting public prosecutor Kholeka Galeka officially released the interim report to the Phala investigation. Galeka's draft report on the Phala farm scandal was leaked on Saturday. The preliminary report clears Ramaphosa of any wrongdoing over the theft of $580,000 at the president's farm in Limpopo, which occurred in February 2022. The office of the public prosecutor confirmed that the preliminary findings of the Phala investigations were sent to all affected parties, including Ramaphosa, on Friday. In terms of the Public Prosecutor Act, the office said all complainants and implicated persons had 10 days to make representations to the public prosecutor on the draft document. Paul Hoffman, the Executive Director of Accountability Now, joins us for more on this. Thank you for your time, Paul.
Thank you for the opportunity, Dapo, and good afternoon to your viewers.
Good afternoon.
One small correction. This preliminary report is written by our public protector, which is an ombudsman-type body that we have set up in South Africa to bed down constitutional democracy in our new order since now.
All right, thank you for the
public prosecutor is part of the Criminal Justice Administration.
All right, thank you for the adjustment there. All right, so let's get straight to it. The Phala report has been leaked and opposition parties are not happy. What are your thoughts looking at the report clearing President Ramaphosa of wrongdoings?
Yes, I think the first point to be made is that the report is in the nature of a preliminary report. The interested and affected parties are all entitled in the course of the next 10 days to give feedback to the public protector about how the report has landed with them, where they think there are errors, where they think omissions have occurred, with a view to changing the preliminary report in the respects that are highlighted by those who make representations, as is allowed under the Public Protector Act. Having cleared that little part of the deck, because the preliminary nature of the report has to be stressed. It's meant to be confidential, but it's been leaked and everybody knows about it. So we're all talking about it in South Africa and indeed elsewhere in the world, which is why you have invited me onto your show this afternoon.
All right, now
there are weaknesses in the report. Sorry.
Okay, I was about to say that we'll go ahead to scrutinize the report as regards the Constitution, saying the President and his cabinet cannot act in any way that is inconsistent with their office. Now, did the President act according to the moral of his oath of office?
Yes, that is really the basic question that hasn't been tackled properly by the acting public protector. You're quite right that the Constitution says that members of cabinet, and obviously our president is part of our cabinet, cannot do other paid work and cannot act in a manner that is inconsistent with the office they hold. Now, what the president did when he came back into politics after quite a long holiday was that he placed his business interests into blind trusts so that he wouldn't be in a conflict of interest situation, wouldn't even be exposed to the risk of a conflict. But he didn't do the same with his farming operation at Phala, which is conducted through a small closed corporation in which he is the sole member. So the question that isn't really dealt with in the preliminary report is whether continuing to farm as a hobby, if you wish, is or is not consistent with the office that President Ramaphosa holds, and whether he has exposed himself to the risk of a conflict of interest. And it's apparent from the facts that are common cause now that there may well be the risk of a conflict of interest. The money that came into South Africa, the US dollars brought in by a Sudanese businessman, were not declared upon their arriving in South Africa, which puts a big question mark around their legitimacy. Is this money that has been brought to South Africa for the purposes of laundering it? And has the president, rightly or wrongly, found himself in the midst of a money laundering exercise?
All right.
The second question that...
Okay.
Sorry, carry on.
All right, Paul, because we are pressed with time, I was just about to ask you our final question before I let you go. I mean, straight to it, do you expect consistency in this preliminary report and the final report when it comes out?
No, if the job is done properly, there will be several aspects that will have to be attended to. The tax position in relation to the money, the Reserve Bank permission to keep the money for more than the allowed 30 days, and the president's situation as regards his duty in law, and this is on pain of criminal sanctions, to report the theft of the dollars. That report has to be made to our Hawks, our specialist priority crimes unit, not just to any policeman. And it seems that he may well be in breach of that. That is not the finding in the preliminary report. So those are the areas where we expect change.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Paul Huffman.
Thanks for the opportunity.